Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to this special town council meeting, mainly for capital rollovers, but first on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, next we have the capital rollovers. We do have a list of all the capital rollovers that the department heads would like to see us roll over. The town manager put these together, and the total does come to 819,088. Brian, you wanna?
Yes, Mr. President, this Monday, the finance director and I met with the department heads. We went back to the rollovers from last year that were rolled over last year, and we pared it down to this list that you have in front of you as the wish list, so to say, of the department heads as a benchmark or a hold, so to say, for capital items that were budgeted in prior fiscal years that they would like to see if there is money available in the future.
All right, so I have one question, if I could.
Sure.
President. So is there money allocated to these funds to these titles in an account? Correct. So, I don't know if anybody heard me earlier, but I will repeat myself. The rollover process is a legislative act that allows us by law to carry money from one fiscal year to another. And in this case, we don't have any money to carry. So we don't actually have anything to roll over. So everything has been zeroed out already. So this isn't really a wish list. It's a list, and a good one, and it's worth $800,000. But legally, there aren't any fiscal amounts attached to these items from previous budgets. So this legislative action that we were going to take advantage of today, when I say legislative action, I mean law, the opportunity, is nullified because there's nothing from a previous year that would have not been spent and rolled back into the general fund. So that is where the rollover comes from. We are allowed a process to take that money from, let's say, 2018 and now bring it into the 2024-25 budget. We don't have that money. Therefore, we don't need to take that action. So my motion is to zero out everything as a rollover item because everything previously already has been zeroed out. What I applaud is the list you've created, the cooperative interaction by prioritizing your requests on this list, and we then take an action in the future attaching ARPA money with that. Or money we find down the road that we would then create a line item for or put into a line item that already exists. But after the last meeting, I had to do some research, and I did. Mr. DeSisto, correct me if I'm wrong, that we didn't actually roll anything over. We rolled over 0 funded line items that show a debt to our budget if we were to carry those continuously.
You have a motion, but I'm going to ask Anthony to clarify what your thoughts on what Joe said.
This is what council has. Not rollable money. Because originally, as the finance director just said, what these rollovers are, in particular with the fiscal situation, is an authorization that would allow money to be spent. So it's not, you're not rolling over funds, you're rolling over an authorization to have the money spent. That's what you would be doing here. But you have to do that with the knowledge that there's not a corresponding amount in your general fund that's been restricted. So the question is whether or not you want to continue. This would be not so much a law, but more like a continuing resolution that would allow these to be paid if you have the money, which you don't right now.
Okay, I
So
actually,
that's where he's correct.
I have a follow-up on that. Two. Number one is, are any of these subject to us losing funds or grants by not spending or rolling over? And my second point is, it looks like all of these would probably be eligible for, at the July meeting, the town manager is gonna give us a list of, opera money that we have and opera money that we can use. It looks to me that all of these could, if we have the money, could come out of opera funds. So rather than roll them over and carry them on our balance sheet, we would still be able to use opera money for that, because you're right, we do not have the money.
We're
We
not
can,
rolling over anything.
so we're really not rolling over any money. So those would be my two questions. Is there any chance we lose funding by not doing any of these projects? And the other one is, if we just don't roll any of them over, we can always pull them back up if we have opera funds to pay for them. Am I correct in that assumption? Or about the, Yeah.
I can't answer the first one because I don't know if any of these rollovers are tied to paired funding with state, federal funding source. I don't know that.
okay, is there any of the finance director or department heads that would know if we're tied to any?
I can help you with that.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of any of these, this list
Okay.
being tied to any grants that we currently have or that are in the pipeline,
Okay.
so to say.
Councilman?
Coming out of our audit and looking at our finances, all of our funding, all of our funds have been consolidated. So other than the 2.2, correct me on the specifics, or the 2.4 federal for police and fire, those are restricted and those are promissory notes. If we have the cash, fine, but we can't use them for anything else. So we're in no jeopardy there. And again, best of my knowledge, coming out of the audit, we don't have any restricted line item accounts. There are no additional funds other than what we have in the bank right now.
Okay.
Correct?
Okay.
So,
So we have a motion to not roll any, oh, sorry.
So we don't even have to take an action.
I'm thinking, I think.
no, we do. We do.
Yes, yes,
because-
sir.
You don't want to make sure that we don't spend it. I recommend it, go ahead. Here's why. Rather than keeping these on the books, I think if you take this action, it is going to make these clearer from the companies.
Correct. Yeah.
And even though it's, you might say it's duplicative and you don't need to do it, it's redundant. I'm gonna recommend that you do it anyway, so that there's no questions.
So if we do this, if we zero these out, do not roll them over, we will be even that much closer to sort of a clean start point as far as where we are from a cash balance perspective.
It's not gonna.
We will
Yeah,
have
it's-
nothing that is sort of looming on the side, like, well, you still gotta take care of this, or that's still sort of.
Well, we'll have
This isn't
no-
encumbered, but if,
We will no longer have projects that were attached to funds of the past.
Right. It's gonna,
What
it's
we're
gonna
gonna
help.
have is a clean slate, and if we want to, for example, do stormwater comprehensive work, and we have $25,000 to put into that fund, that budget year, we'll create that line item, and we'll put that money in.
It's not gonna put more money in our account, but it's gonna
No.
clean up our balance sheet.
exactly,
Because these funds on the balance sheet, I don't know if they come up as expended, but they come up as allocated, so they come out of that dollar amount, which makes it worse, I believe.
It looks like we have $4.3 million of promised work that we were scheduled to do, that we're never going to do, but we're carrying it over.
And so taking this action would not prevent us from looking back, looking at our July meeting and how we might be able to fund some of these items.
Correct.
That's correct. You got
Just, okay, just so we're clear on that.
Every statement that is made by a council. This file is correct.
And I was also gonna ask, if we decide not to roll these over, I was gonna ask the town manager to go over this list intently for his recommendations in July. for the opera funds.
Mhm.
Well, your question about match funds on,
Mhm.
your question about match funds on our original rollover sheet from the meeting on the 26th, under stormwater drainage infrastructure, there is a coastal resilience grant match of $25,000. So it doesn't show up here, but it shows up on this sheet. So I'm just putting that out there. That might be something that we need to address at that point.
Well, it may be a grant match, but we don't have the
Correct.
money to put for that.
But if we're gonna lose, we
In
may
other
want
words,
to
but we
revisit
already,
it.
but we
Yeah, we may
already
want to
have-
use if we use opera, I don't think it matters if we use opera to get the match.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Correct, because imagine now that item is there, but there's zero from us attached to it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So again, even if it's there and even if, like, let's say down the road, we had a promise for a grant for $200,000, but we had to spend 100. We don't have the 100. So we're at the bottom of the mountain. We gotta start the climb. And this is the beginning step in our budget looks and how our budget looks.
Okay, so we have a motion to not roll over any pending items. Didn't we roll one over last meeting?
We had a bunch of things that we
Yeah,
rolled over.
quite a few.
We have, I have a list where I checked off the ones that.
Yeah, we
chose
we
to roll
rolled
over.
over, I thought we only rolled over like one or two last
We
meeting.
got rid of some,
We
because
did a
we didn't
bunch.
really, I was working from the premise that we had funds attached to these, because in years past, when we would participate in this
So does
practice,
your motion want to include
my motion is
the
going
the
to
changes
include
to what we made last week?
anything and everything from previous budgets. Let me amend my motion. I make a motion that any and every rolled over item on the books for the town of Warren be zeroed out.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Okay, I just want, I see some very sad faces in the audience. It's not, we're not saying you're never gonna get this. What we're saying is we're gonna take it off our books. And if we get the funds either through opera or some other way, then we'll reconsider funding it. But I mean, even if we voted to carry it over, we don't have the money for it anyway. So you're not, by not rolling it over, you're not really losing anything, so.
No, not at all.
Yep, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passes. And with that, as you're presenting, you're getting your list for us for July, take a good look at these requests here and see what you think. merits-
Absolutely.
merits.
And.
Yeah, well, yeah, yep. Okay, the last item on the agenda is discussion and action regarding the outdoor movie system. I guess this is a purchase. We're buying our own screen?
We are, the whole system. So this is, and I apologize, I'm not sure if you have everything. This is, the screen, the projector, the sound system, the air blower, because it's a portable, blow up screen. This is, I'm looking at the wrong one, sorry. Yeah, this is the whole process so that we can do it all of ourselves. So we don't
Where
have
is
to
this?
rent
What-
it, we don't have to rent them every time.
Where are we paying this from?
So this is gonna be from that Rhode Island Commerce grant that we received.
Okay,
That was the part of it, so part of it is the 20,000. $6,000 will come from that.
Okay.
And then $4,000 will come from the movie and concert funds that we've raised.
okay.
Anthony, can we do that? People donated money for movies and concerts, and we do this for a movie. I mean, oh, is it movies and concerts or was it just
Yep,
concerts?
nope, it's movies, it's
I
our
said it,
summer,
but
it's our
caught
summer
myself
movie and
saying
concert series. Yes,
Movies and concerts, thank you.
yes. And that it's advertises that when we ask for
Excellent,
donations.
excellent.
Where will all of this equipment be kept? In
So
stores?
during the summer, it will be kept probably in the band shell because that's where we'll be, that's where the movies are.
And that's
or-
safe.
Yes, that is safe. And or that new, beautiful, thank you so much. It has been the best 3 days. In our new storage shed also. We have plenty of space.
Okay, so.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve 6K from the Commerce grant and 4K from the donated.
Yeah,
funds.
well, $4,299.50.
Okay.
Yeah. do.
To be split, yeah, to be split by the Commerce grant and the
Yeah, I'm gonna
donated
split it
fund.
between the two.
Okay,
So, the question, you up and running down there?
Yes,
Yes, everything's working.
everything is great.
It's good to hear.
Yes.
For all that. It's a long
Yes,
road.
it is, and it has made life much easier. Parents are super happy. And I'm actually working down there now, so our beach bathrooms can stay open later. So people who go to the beach later on in the evening, they can actually utilize the bathrooms now. So it's a really, I'm very happy.
we have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of the movie equipment. Did we get a second? Did I even get a motion?
Kerry, I made the motion, Kerry second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
I have a question for.
Certainly.
Mr. Thibodeau. Mr. DeSisto, would it be appropriate if I were to ask Ms. Thibodeau a question that falls under her, it's not on the agenda, but it falls under her purview? I'll ask it and then we'll see if you think it should be
You
answered.
know what? That scares me.
Can't unring the bell.
Can we leave the speed bump strips out overnight?
No.
Because people are using the beach.
Okay.
I would be afraid somebody would steal them.
Okay.
We have had people-
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.